and this is Animal Facts We Should Have Left in 2024 by channel Casual Geographic. Yeah, it's a Casual Geographic video. I'm guessing things that is outdated. Now, I've been thinking about that a lot because of like the bodybuilding hobby that I don't know, suddenly started or some shit. Like I was somewhat jacked, but like recently I've gotten intense about it, and I realized like how much of like outdated information is out there, right? Like daily usage. I see people like, like working out with like 20-year-old knowledge, and it's I get it. Like people like science, yeah, but it's like science is not just some word, right? It's not just something. If you have like 200 studies pointing out something, that's basically a fact at that point, right? So yeah, the newer studies, like people are not really like like, oh, it's just science. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, it's important, right? And it gives you result. Like, that's what science is. So I'm pretty sure there's many things like that's going to be in like animal world, right? Things that people like still carry on even though it's been proven by now. I don't know what it's going to be about, but it's going to be interesting. Let's watch it. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, so that way I know which type of videos to react to more. I like watching animal facts type of videos. Casual Geographic is the primary one nowadays. Tears when he uploads. It's a Frank one, right? Like I don't know, somehow I miss his videos, like one or two. Notifications just weird when it comes to a Frank one video. I don't know why YouTube chooses certain channels to like screw over when it comes to notifications, but yeah, Casual Geographic is great. Like, his passion is insane. He knows a lot, right? And by watching a lot of his video, like I realized, like since he was a kid, he was into this. So yeah, it just makes sense. So let's watch it.
Indonesia have apparently learned how to pretend to be drowning to lure humans in who they view as prey.
I'm gonna call this Animal Facts We Should Have Left in 2024, because after this, I will not be speaking on this anymore. So this video went viral for obvious reasons. I really thought it was a joke, but from the comments and the sheer volume of people that tagged me, I guess not. So yeah, they're not pretending to drown. But the truth might actually be worse. You see these tiny dots, these pits on the crocodile? Well, they're pressure sensors, and a microdose trypophobia means a prehistoric sawtooth sledgehammer can detect the smallest vibrations in the water. A butterfly can go skinny dipping, and the oversized assault gecko can pinpoint its exact location. In fact, it's scientifically proven. You could blindfold a crocodile in a sensory deprivation tank and drip a leaky faucet's worth of water. They'll know exactly where it's coming from. Their jaws are more sensitive than fingertips, and it's why you can get away with this until a drop of sweat hits their mouth and you get your melon split like Fruit Ninja. It's also why if you see this, be wary. That's a pre-typed obituary. In especially murky water, a crocodile will basically T-pose with a side of spirit fingers to maximize their sensitivity to any disturbances, and any fish in its hitbox gets
It's basically, like some guy and just like, like spreading a hand out and just listening. Huh? Oh, I hear the disturbance in the force. That shit is insane. Like shark are something like you can detect a drop of blood from like insanely long distance. Crocodile can sense disturbance in the water. Why are water things, animals, or whatever, like this level of intense, right? I get it's survival based, they evolved that way, all that, but like at a human level, when you think about it, that is like horrifying, right? This is like a horror movie shit right here. And crocodiles that bite forests is like next level. Right? Sharks are like, like double teeth or whatever that is, like backup teeth and something. These are some untouchable things right there. And orcas bully sharks at the level where if shark sees dolphin, they are basically going to leave. I'm pretty sure Mythbusters did a video. Like if you were to like in the ocean and sharks are around, if you're with the dolphin, you're probably going to be fine. And I'm guessing because sharks think dolphins are basically orcas, they can't tell them apart, and they don't want to mess with orcas.
Gets filleted. So yeah, you got a plus-size sentient snare trap beast breathing like a Nosuke, but this armored demon's the only one slaying. So that could be what's happening here. Or maybe the croc caught a body and just won't let go. Or he could just be dead, but definitely not pretending to drown. I mean, that would imply that someone witnessed the same living plot armor that disregarded 2 extinctions in water and tried to be a hero, and apparently did it enough times for the crocs to catch on. And it's not like crocs are stupid. Mugger crocodiles have been recorded using twigs and sticks to bait nest-building birds like egrets into getting close enough to get fouled. Some Cuban crocs have been trained to respond to commands and even come running when called by name.
I can't, man. Every time crocodile is sitting there with the mouth over, it's like, don't move. Like, like, let's trap them.
Oh yeah, they can run, by the way. Crocodiles have also been known to work as a team, where a researcher witnessed one scare a pig into a lagoon directly where two others were waiting. Hell, they even warn you in Australia to never camp or get water from the same place more than twice, because a croc will really recognize the pattern, memorize your routine, and then be right there to cancel your life subscription the next time. So yeah, for a brain in the weight class of a walnut, crocs
I
are...
remember Grand Tour episode, no wait a minute, Top Gear episode from season 22, episode 3. Yeah, episode. That's how bad I was watching Top Gear back then. I fucking know the episode. They went to Australia. Season 22 episode. Yeah, that is the one. They went to Australia, right? And they were doing like camping, right? Like, you know, I think someone, who was it? Someone was in the Bentley, right? And like fishing. Oh, it was the Hammond inside the Bentley, right? And Crocodile suddenly like jumped up, like made a splash, and with a hammer, like, see, I told you, like, this is Australia. Right? Big ass, you know, crocodiles are gonna eat us. I'm guessing Crocodile was also waiting for them to do some movement. Those three balls are just insane, like doing all this crazy shit, especially at that level when they were already that famous. They're like, should we lay it back? No, let's do crazy shit.
aren't dumb, but sympathy baiting? That's a Bikram yoga stretch, and what surprised me the most was just how many articles reposted that video repeating it. Like, they really have people out here thinking reptiles unlock the power of manipulation. Now, to be fair, that might seem obvious to you, but to someone who doesn't yap about animals for a living, or, you know, watch them, seeing it in an article could be all it takes, and like a verbal virus, it doesn't take much for it to spread. So, for the sake of my mental health, I'm working with ground news. Because if I have to argue with one more comment, I'm gonna lose something. My mind, my fans, my freedom, it might get critical. Ground News is an app and website made by a former NASA engineer who saw a very real problem with the way information can be used as a weapon and how news outlets often feed on folks' biases. And the thing is, if you think you can't be swayed by bias, then you're exactly the type of person to fall for it. Ground News counters that by gathering all the world's news in one place so you can compare.
The problem isn't bias, right? You're gonna form your own bias. That's how opinions are formed, right? But at least the information you receive won't be biased.
Coverage. No tunnel vision here. You get to see the entire picture and actually be informed. Like with the crocodile story. Here you can see it was covered by a modest 13 sources, and in terms of bias towards one side, there isn't really a whole lot to go off of. But here you can see none of the sources were marked as highly factual. In fact, the majority were quite the opposite. So you see, it's a quick way to know what's what without having a know-it-all in a backwards baseball cap tell it to you. Another recent major event were the LA wildfires, and with Ground News, you can see it was reported by 214 sources, and in terms of bias, it broke pretty much even down the middle. But with bias comparison, you can see that left-leaning literature focused on it being possibly the most costly natural disaster in US history, and right headlines, they focus more on the long-term ramifications for people and businesses and what it could mean for different sides of the socio-economic spectrum. And with the blind spot,
That is so on the like theme, right? Like right-wingers, conservatives, Republicans would think that. Right? Like business element of things, like how long-term is gonna affect what.
feature, you can see news that one side may not have reported at all. As a member of the Chronically Online, it's a pretty cool tool for me to have, and if you're watching this, you probably are too. So if you use my link, you'll get 40% off the same top tier less than $5 a month Vantage plan I'm using. Make sure you go to groundnews.com/casualgeo or scan the QR code on screen to subscribe. But until you do, I'll just tell you, they're not pretending to drown. They're smart, they're not that smart. Like I said, these stories only get airtime when people think a wild predator has the same thought process as a person. That's exactly how you get this. You know, to this day, I don't know where this came from. We're talking about otters. They're not exactly the emblem of empathy. Male sea otters will literally kidnap a pup while their mom's out hunting and hold it hostage.
Otters are just fucked up. After the, you know, river otters, that's the name, right? Like there's the sound of them ganging up on something, just making rah, 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 fuck that. Right? Otters in my mind is like, okay, stay away.
Until she gives up the groceries. Otters don't mercy farm. You know, if nature's taught us anything, it's that a family ferret's more likely to throw its child into the abyss than ever try something like this. I mean, just imagine a sea otter trying to emotionally guilt trip a giant apex dolphin. That's another thing. Everyone calls them killer whales, but orcas are bully dolphins on steroids, whose original
Yeah, what's with the killer whale? They're not whales, right? I always call them orcas. Like people like, I'm pretty sure in America, you know, like killer whale is more famous name for them than orcas. Very few people call them orcas. I don't know, but orca should be the more common because it's distinct. It's their own name, right? Because that's how fucked up they are. That's how different they are. That's how intelligent they are. You shouldn't like group them with anyone. Oh, they're orcas. They're the thing of their own type of way. That's how I think it.
handle was whale killer. Yeah, you probably heard me say this many times. Well, I was wrong, technically. Let me explain. But it will get complicated, so I'm gonna need you to lock in. After this ad, of course. So cetaceans are basically mammals that stole the fish's entire flow, not from fusing or merging, but from the evolution that's converging. There's two types of cetaceans, baleen whales, you know, the toothbrush bristles for teeth type, and toothed whales, for obvious reasons. Okay, now here's where it gets complicated. The toothed whale family reunion is massive. You got everything from your flipper paralysis demon, the false killer whale, to the virtually extinct vaquita. There's 10 families of toothed whales, and within these 10, there's a superfamily with 6 of them called Delphinoidea. Superfamily Delphinoidea is where you have your oceanic dolphins, porpoises, along with narwhals and belugas, because they're related for some reason. Cue the
Delphinoidea, that's okay. I guess they deliberately named that. I have no idea.
beluga. Also, notice I said oceanic dolphins. The dolphins that live in rivers are in a completely different party. But anyway, superfamily Delphinoidea is where you find the dolphins that, let's be real, are the ones you think of when you hear the word dolphin. And the biggest type of ocean dolphin is the one that can slapbox a seal into orbit. So to recap, any mammal that looks like this is a cetacean. Every cetacean with teeth is a toothed whale. A dolphin in the ocean is a toothed whale in the Delphinoidea family. And the biggest member of Delphinoidea is an orca. So long story short, killer whales are dolphins. Every dolphin is a toothed whale, but not every toothed whale is a dolphin. But every toothed whale is a cetacean. It's kind of like how every tortoise is a turtle, but not every turtle is a tortoise. So to answer, are orcas whales or dolphins? Yes, they are. By the way, let me know if you want a full video on that, because that was probably mad confusing. Because being an animal nerd long enough is realizing names really don't mean a thing. Except here, Black Panther is not an animal. You might be tired of hearing it. Well, I'm tired of saying it. And when I say not an animal, I mean, if you go to a zoo and try to find the exhibit that says Black Panther, you won't find it. Because it's not even a name more than a description. It's a panther that's black. And remember, panther is just any cat in the Panthera genus. So any lion, tiger, jaguar...
Exactly, man. What's with that? Like, even I realized that very, like, panther, like, that's very broad, right? It's like that big cat. Like, okay, what big cat, right? It's the family name, Panthera or whatever, right?
Leopard or snow leopard in black could be a black panther. But because the mutation that causes it is dominant in jaguars but recessive in leopards, most black panthers are just jaguars with 10% tint.
Yeah, but that's just like jaguar who's like stealth black, like that's what jaguar needs, more stealth. Not like they're already like stealthy ninja assassins. Yeah, they need like stealth now. Imagine black jaguar at night. Holy shit.
But Black Panther itself isn't an actual animal. That'd be like if we called every black wolf, fox, or coyote a black canine, but then acted like black canine was its own thing. It's not real. And you know what else? Alpha wolves are not real, I swear to God. Actually, they are. They are real, but only when you put a bunch of wolves that don't know each other in a zoo and they have to figure out stuff on their own. That's actually what happened. In the 1930s, Rudolf Schenkel studied wolves in a zoo, and after watching more fights in face in a telenovela, he just figured that wolves determine group politics by tearing each other apart.
I mean, all the alpha shit goes away when it's about family, right? All the people like, I'm the alpha of the group. I go to the bar, I go to the gym, everybody listens to me. And goes home and like, Mom, I'm playing video game with my friend. Oh, shut the fuck. Okay. So yeah, when it comes to family, there is no alpha, right? Alpha is like who the parents are.
Biologist David Mech built off his work and came up with the term alpha wolf. What they didn't realize was that the wolves were fighting over resources, not rank, and by putting a bunch of randoms in one place, they basically created real house wolves of Switzerland. In real life, a wolf pack is usually just 2 parents and a bunch of their kids. What folks kept calling the alpha wolf,
I'm imagining the dramatic camera movements, right? Real housewife level shit.
whole time was just their father. Now, because I've done this before, I know someone's gonna comment, well, if they're the lead wolf, they're still the alpha. The problem is, the whole alpha thing implies that the lead wolves got there by beating the others like a Cherokee drum. Really, it's just seniority. Also, another thing I never thought about until right now is once the kids get to about 1 or 2 years old, they dip and try to form their own pack. In a zoo, you often get the same adult wolves around each other constantly, and like any reality show, eventually that leads to tension that wouldn't be there in a normal pack. So normally, you wouldn't see any alpha wolves in the wild, and the same guy that came up with that would spend the rest of his career trying to take it back. And just as a final middle finger to anyone that still wants to argue, when the term alpha male was first used academically in 1921, it was by zoologist Thorleif Sheldrup Ebbe. And he was referring to, I'm not even kidding. He was talking about the hierarchy where lower status poultry will get pecked on by higher ranks. That's literally where pecking order came from. So the next time
The alpha male, I guess you're talking about your chicken, that's what you're saying.
Man tries you with that alpha male just know he's taking cues from a temperamental chicken nugget. Also, chickens are confirmed psychopaths. If one chicken starts bleeding, the whole flock will jump in and peck it to death. I think the worst thing is that people took the alpha dog thing and got convinced that's how you make your actual dog respect you. Cesar Millan has done an absolute masterclass of misinformation on the dog community. You really got folks thinking you gotta flex on an 80-pound pit bull to keep him in line. Imagine trying to play alpha.
Yeah, all that shit, right? Like all the dog psychology and all the shit, like basically that guy that he talked about, like talking about all this like dominant stuff, like I don't know, who's a chimpanzee, I think, right? Like who basically if you give them something, they expect something from you, like just like goes insane, right? Like try to assert dominance over you. That's chimpanzee. I don't know, basically one of the like apes, right? They act like dogs are like that, like you need to assert your dominance in that. Like, I was like assumed like how the fuck you know at that level, maybe and I see all of these dog videos and cat videos, how every other dog and cats behave differently. Like how the fuck like one shoe fit all type of mentality you're going with, assert dominance. Maybe there's some truth to it, but then again that applies to humans as well. You wouldn't treat humans like that, would you? That's just insane.
With Cujo on creatine. We've gotten a lot wrong about dogs, and probably the worst thing, that a tail wagging means happy. That fact alone has probably gotten more people bit than anything. Basically, a tail wag means excitement. Excitement can mean...
Oh yeah, that makes sense. They're excited, so that could be happy. They could also be excited to bite your ass, but you need to see the face. Now, who the dog is? Do you know the dog? Is it a wild dog, like somebody who doesn't know? Is the dog who has rabies or whatever? Yeah, that's probably not a happy tail wag. It's like, I'm gonna kill you type of tail wag.
Seeing their person come home, or it can mean fear, anxiety, or the last warning before they put a canine-sized hole in your hand. And the faster the tail, the more excited Fido is. The question is, what kind? Well, science says a tail favoring the right means the vibes are good, but a tail leaning left could mean stress, so best to be left. Alone, that is a lot more complicated than I just made it sound, but long story short, a tail wag is like a smile. A smile can mean someone's happy to see you, or might even think you're cute, or that waitress is just doing her job and doesn't want to get hit on at work. Long story short, if you expect your dog to learn how to parlay people, then the least you can do is talk tail. Oh, another dog thing that's been bothering me for years is that Chihuahuas are the spawn of Shaitan. Now, I get the little dog thing. I've been personally victimized by many an ankle biter. But with dogs, there's usually a why. You just gotta look deep enough. Huskies are known for being donkey stubborn toddlers on 4.
Come inside.
But Huskies were also bred as sled dogs, and not only would they have to be independent and make decisions in a dangerous work environment, sometimes they'd have to be willing to go against orders if those orders went against their better judgment. It's actually called intelligent disobedience, and for football fans, it's basically an audible. It's pretty important, because, you know, if Russell Wilson had it, maybe he would have ran the ball! Beagles are basically walking instruments, but they were bred to hunt rabbits in thick brush, and that same bang keeping you up at 2 a.m. is how they communicate with hunters. So why are Chihuahuas like that? You know, I don't even think it's a Chihuahua thing more than a little dog thing, but I have my theories. A lot of times, Chihuahuas don't get socialized with other dogs early on, so the first time they see a big dog, which like any dog to them is a big dog, it probably scares the daylights out of them. Also, I think a bigger thing is owners be letting a lot of bad habits slide just because they're travel size. So eventually it escalates. Let it be a Doberman and suddenly they'll know discipline. Actually, that's my biggest
I think just being little means you're gonna be scared of everything, and if you're scared, like you'll act like your back is against the wall. You'll be aggressive to everything. That just makes sense.
thing. A lot of owners won't correct bad behavior when it comes from a Chihuahuano. In fact, I've seen a lot of y'all encourage it. I've always said if a Rottweiler acted like a Chihuahua for a day, he'd be dead by dinner. Also, often what looks like aggression might just be fear. And if your dog tells you...
Yeah, if your toddler acts like that, it's cute. If Mike Tyson acts like that, that's not cute. That's what basically that is.
He's afraid and you don't listen because you think it's cute. But that's how you end up with the dog version of David. Size might be part of it too, but it probably has less to do with it than people think. Long story short, if I see a kid wilding in Walmart, I'm gonna look at the parents. And likewise, I'm gonna blame the dog owner before I blame the dog. No clever transition, but another thing I've heard is that male lions don't hunt, or better yet, that male lions are lazy. And I can tell you exactly where it came from. You see, lionesses...
I don't know about lazy, but it's just like, yeah, lionesses basically do most of the work. A lion is just like a protector, right? Like male lion, like I'm gonna protect the herd type of shit. But I'm pretty sure like lionesses also fight. I don't know what's that about.
Use the power of friendship to run down prey in open areas. It's pretty hard to miss. Lions are bigger, bulkier, and with a whole afro equipped, they had to switch up the playbook. So instead, male lions ambush prey by camping out in dense brush. Research shows that male lions pack up prey as frequently as females. It's just that in the olden days, you'd probably never see it. Also, before male lions even get a pride, they're in their nomad arc. Oh, they'd be lying on the ground permanently if they didn't hunt. Now, to be fair, male lions do stop hunting as much when they're in a pride, but not completely. They'll often get involved to bring down bigger, riskier prey like buffalo that lionesses might struggle with. Basically, the lionesses run them down and the main mercenary delivers the final blow. Now, they do only get involved about
It just makes sense because of their size. Like they'll gas out really fast, right? It's like someone in human terms is Conor McGregor, like jumping around, doing all this shit. Francis Ngannou, people like that is not gonna do like one shot to like take down anything, right? So basically something like that, a big ass lion, right? Male lion, like yeah, it's just gonna like conserve its energy and everything when it's needed, right? But when it's needed, it's gonna be heavy. It's like if Ngannou would punch McGregor, his half of the skull would break, basically, right? That's the weight difference there.
10% at a time, but it's not because they're lazy. They just have a different job description. Male lions patrol the pride lands, mark their territory, and as you know, they gotta run the ones with any outsider trying to take his place. What you might not realize is, as good at hunting lionesses are, in some studies they got up to half their kills stolen by hyenas, or even other males. Having a nearly 500-pound equalizer on their side helps them keep what they catch. It's not lazy, it's just that lions and lionesses help cover each other's weaknesses perfectly, and clearly it works. They're the most notorious and feared pack predators in Africa. Or maybe second, because there's one predator that animals fear even more than Mufasa and friends, and you'll never get it's us. It's us. You might remember that.
Guessed immediately. As soon as you opened your mouth, like, oh, they're the second, oh, I guess he's gonna talk about us.
An experiment showed that almost every animal from giraffes to antelope to even leopards and hyenas were unanimously more afraid of the sound of humans than the cadence of a giant carnivorous cat.
They should.
Which is out to this day. I still don't understand how this went viral. Or at least I didn't, because not only did I find out where it came from, I think I was wrong, kind of, technically. Let me explain. So in 2017, college student Julia Haas posted a tweet saying elephants basically see us the same way we see puppies. Now, ignoring the part of the population that's terrified of dogs, the fact loses steam when you realize she got it from Tumblr. It's more likely that one of the smartest creatures alive see us as predators, but not their babies. Remember, it's proven that baby elephants that play the most grow up into more well-adjusted adults. It's why you'll see a baby-faced boulder chase around birds, dogs, and anything in between. So here's what I think happened. Baby elephants will treat humans like any other animal. Difference is, humans might be the only animal that'll see an 1,800-pound toddler barreling towards them and welcome it. In fact, the premature pachyderms probably realize that a hairless bipedal ape gives them their best response. So it's not really that elephants think we're cute, it's that baby elephants think everything's cute. Us included. And I'd bet that's where all
I mean, that's how humans are, human babies are, right? And elephants are that level of intelligence, so it just makes sense, it tracks that way, right? Otherwise, no way, like big elephants, like, oh, humans are cute. No, I see what they're doing there. I see everything that I see around made by human. Cute things don't do that, right? Elephants are smart. They can track down, like I've seen the stories from geographic, track down someone like long distance away. Humans can't do that without like navigation. Elephants did that shit without even navigation. So no way they know, oh, humans are cute. No, that's not the case.
All the videos of 1-ton 2-year-olds manhandling people came from, and I wouldn't even believe that if I didn't nearly become one of them. Yeah, I went all the way to Chiang Mai to get bullied by an elephant's child. And I'd do it again. I actually made a video where I talk about it, along with why playing with one could be a bad time for literally everyone involved. You might not have seen it because apparently the YouTube lords did not care for that video. Probably because I talked about certain topics. If you know, you know, but if you don't, definitely give it a watch. I don't usually plug after I post, but I'm proud of that one. But that's gonna do it for this video. Make sure you drink water, hug your mother, touch grass, it's good for you, and I'ma see y'all.
I'm pretty sure that video, when I put a reaction to it, got flagged and got demonetized. So maybe, yeah, that could be the reason. You need to be very careful nowadays with YouTube, because algorithm is not just something that looks out for words and everything. It scans your whole video. Like it is insane. It will like randomly scan even 2 months after like you post, like, oh wait a minute, this is a problem. Thanks for detecting that after 2 months. Yeah, what about those animal facts we should have left in 2024? Like all of Guess Your videos are always awesome. Like whenever I watch it, like yeah, it's like gathering of the knowledge. Like there's rarely channels on YouTube where I like actively, whenever I watch it, I know shit more, right? I mean, obviously you can learn small thing here and there from anything, but like when it comes to geographic, since I know nothing about this, I love it. I learn more and more about animals, and the topic he covers, he covers is always awesome. Alright, well, if you like my next one, don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next time.